to music, but I gotta do this. I need your help. You gotta help me bring to life this portrait. And before we get into today's portrait, let me know, where are you watching this from? Your city, your state, your country, wherever you are, represent it. We're gonna throw that on the screen during the live stream. And Happy New Year. This is the first live stream coming back. We are now in 2023, and I'm excited. We are inching closer towards Paint Life Live episode 100. Not quite there yet, but we will definitely do something special for that. Either way, welcome everybody, and we're gonna get into this in just a moment, but let us know down below in the comments where are you watching from. And again, I'm so excited to just kickstart this new year. New paintings, more live streams, more content, and of course, you can always let me know down below in the comments what portraits you want to see in the future. So let's keep this going. This is Paint Life Live. Let's go. All right, so we're going to get into today's portrait. The portrait is a person who is, I think, one of the fastest men on the planet. If you saw the title to this, you already know who it is. If you haven't, come along for the ride. And also keep letting me know where you're watching from anywhere in the world. We're live streaming across platforms. Do we have anyone checking in? Not yet. All right, we're gonna wait for the check in. We'll check in with you guys on your locations. Also, during this live stream, please feel free to ask questions. Let me know whether it's creative related, whether it's about the process and how I paint. Feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer those. Also, throughout this process, I'll share about how I'm creating, why I'm doing it, all that good stuff. All right, let's consider today's portrait. Let's go. All right, welcome to Paint Life Live. My name is David Garibaldi. We're about to get into today's portrait of who I think is one of the fastest men on the planet. It'll all make sense as it comes to life. If you have any questions, ask them below. Either way, I'll be sharing my process as it comes to life. This is Paint Life Live. And by the way, if you are watching, wherever you are watching this, let me know your city, state, or country. So drop it in the comments. We'll share it on the screen and let me know. And then Mason, do you have anyone checking in over there? All right, we got Jack from Boston. Welcome. China tuning in as well. All right, let's get into this portrait. So this particular portrait, it's a very different layout than normal, but we're gonna just bring this to life piece by piece. Here we go. Now, I always love being as loose as I can on this first bottom layer. And I say the bottom layer because we're gonna keep building up on top of this. And so I'm gonna be as loose, and if I'm loose on this layer, my movements, my sketching, my paint strokes, it'll make the top layer feel even more alive and loose. Another little secret that I do as part of this process is I'm also thinking about everything I'm painting as separate shapes. So that way, as I bring it to life, I'm thinking more about it as a shape rather than it having to be a particular object. I'm just looking at it like giving it value and giving it volume. So another way that I try to keep my brush strokes as loose as possible is I hold further back on these brushes as well. Artists out there, if you have any creative questions, let me know below in the comments. Just taking my time with this, enjoying the process, the painting. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. I appreciate you taking the time to just hang out with us. It's also the first time I painted this particular individual. You know, every painting always feels like a risk. And to me, that's a good thing. I feel like as you're creating, you have to keep pushing yourself, and the only way that you're growing is if you're taking a risk, and then you know what it feels like to overcome it, or if you know what it feels like to not do well, which is also part of the growing process. And this will be a new one, a new challenge for me. But this is what we create for, this is what I live for, is just the creative challenges. Let's go back to this gray. So I'm starting out with a purple undertone, adding this gray for the light source on top of it. So I said I'm painting one of the fastest men on the planet. Leave your guesses down below in the comments if you think you know who it is. So it is now 2023. The new year has kicked off. We've been working on some new 2023 plans for a while, so it feels good to be, just starting to see those ideas come to life. One of the fastest men on the planet. Who do you think it could be? This first layer going. By the way, those of you who are watching and you don't follow me already, just ask that you consider following or subscribing. I do these live streams all the time, but also we're posting the shorter content across platforms. But this is my favorite part. It's the live streaming part of this process, because yes, it takes a little bit longer than the paintings I'd normally do, but we get this extra time together. You also get some insight and some kind of an eye into the process that I don't normally share, and I only share on these live streams. All right, let's wash these brushes off. And let's start building up some more of these objects that represent one of the fastest men on the planet. Go back to this purple. Usually try to use cool colors for any objects that feel like they're in the distance or the background. Just to technique that's been, I don't know, that I enjoy, that's been working. Hope you all had an amazing new year. Hope you all stayed safe out there. We definitely just kind of chilled, stayed in for the new year, hung out with some close friends. Keep building this up. By the way, every time I paint, I always sweat profusely. Like I'm always sweating, never stops. I'm gonna say this sweating is part of the creative process. What's that? Did they have any? Oh, and if you have any questions popping up on the screen?
Not really. TikTok knows it's noise.
Oh, they do. Okay, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Some people guessed it. I said it's one of the fastest men on the planet.
Yeah.
So I love the guesses. Hopefully they're enjoying it so far. If you're enjoying it, just drop a thumbs up emoji, or maybe drop a race car emoji in the comments if you're enjoying this. And if you don't already follow me on the platform you're watching this on, I just ask that you would hit that follow button. It'd be greatly appreciated. That's the best way to support these live streams. Keeps me coming back. I can keep doing this. We see those follower counts grow, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, we'll go back to the white, start adding some highlights. These are some of the more difficult things to paint, is any objects with a lot of detail. So I'm used to painting large portraits where I'm moving my body around to paint the portrait quick, but anytime it's objects like this, like you can obviously see it's some sort of Formula One race car, it's more intricate. It's more intricate, and I'm trying to take my time on it. By the way, if you're an artist and you're watching this, drop a paint emoji below. Drop a paint emoji below so that we know you're an artist, you're enjoying this, and some other people can get to know you as well. All these intricate parts of a Formula One race car. So I've been able to perform at the Austin Formula One races before, when they first kicked off, when they first started, which is pretty amazing experience. All right, let's get some color into this. Gonna kind of mist some color, fill some volume. So I love the spray paint is it sort of gives it a mystical effect. Kind of ties it all together in a really cool way. All right, I want to add another layer of color that we're spraying on this. I'll try to find a blue. There we go. Use this blue. Just sort of like misting this on. You come back this way. We'll bring you up close in just a little bit. Just want to get these. Get these colors on here. So again, if you're an artist out there, drop a paint emoji down below. And if you're enjoying this, just drop a thumbs up emoji in the comments. All right, so we've got a little bit there. Let's go back with the white and spray some of the white to define the light source coming down from the right side of this image. So I'm gonna use the white. I'm gonna use a thin spray tip for this. The thin spray tips are great because it limits the amount of air and paint as well. And by the way, the surface that I'm painting on right now is actually not canvas. It's a very thick black paper. It's actually like a photo backdrop paper. So those of you who are artists looking for an alternative, it's a great alternative because the paint doesn't absorb into it. It stays on top. I've been experimenting with it a lot recently, but it's been working out pretty well. That little thin spray tip, there's so many cool lines on this. It gives it texture, gives it color, gives it the thin defining lines. It just kind of does all the heavy lifting for me.
How does the paint not run?
What's that?
How does the paint not run?
That's a great question. So someone just asked, how does the paint not run? And it has to do a lot with how I'm controlling the amount of air that's coming out of the can. So growing up, I used to be into graffiti, and from like middle school to most of high school, I was doing graffiti. So I learned a lot about can control, air control. And so the thin tips also, these specifically only let out a certain amount of paint. So if it was a different tip, it would let out a lot more paint. It would be running, but this thin tip lets out a small amount of paint and a small amount of air, which means the paint won't run as much. And it just takes practice. Great question though. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate those. Keep those questions coming. All right. All right, we got most of the figure here. We're gonna start adding in the portrait now. We gotta bring Mr. Hamilton to life. So a little secret about these brushes that I use, it's not much of a secret, but these are very inexpensive brushes, but also the brushes are synthetic. So they're not like the normal, make sure these feeds are going through. So they're not the normal, I guess, natural hair brushes that you would normally use, but these are synthetic and they handle the abuse of the paint quite a bit. All right, hope you're all doing well right now, bringing this portrait to life. Let me know, where are you watching this from, your city, state, or country? Just let me know down below in the comments. We'll shout out the city, state, or country. Painting's not done yet, but it's come to life. Let me know your thoughts. If you're enjoying this, give me a thumbs up in the comments. And also, if you're an artist, because we want to just show love to the artists out there, just drop a paint emoji if you're an artist. All right, this is my favorite part, when we get to throw the paint around. I always sort of water down the paint or actually with the water so that it flies a little bit smoother. You're probably maybe wondering, why am I even throwing paint at the canvas? One, it feels good. If you've never thrown paint at a wall, a canvas or anything, try it. It feels good. Also, there's actually an art reason for it, is the paint splatter creates balance. So if one side of the image feels like it's sort of heavy on that one side, I'll throw paint on the other side so that the color balances out the actual image. Let's add one more paint throw of the black. I'm gonna water that down just a bit. All right, let's get that one last final handprint in. All right, take one last look at this painting. Take one last look. Check out the details. Also, there's a little hidden Easter egg in there. It's not like a definitive Mercedes symbol, but you'll see it because Lewis Hamilton does drive for Mercedes. One of the fastest on the planet to drive. Check it out. Just press the red button. There you go. Press the red again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. While we're still on, keep hitting those likes. If you're enjoying this, if you enjoyed this process, hit the likes, hit those hearts. If you're an artist, drop a paint emoji. Mr. Lewis Hamilton, one of the fastest on the planet. This is the first time I've painted his portrait. I think I feel like I already want to take another crack at it. But either way, I did it live for you here during this live stream. Hope you're enjoying it. We got the little nose ring on there. Do you see the Mercedes symbol sort of like coming up in the dust of the car? Those of you just joining us, we just did this live during this live stream. We call this series Paint Life Live. You can always watch the full-length replays on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Garibaldi Arts. It's the same across different platforms. And then also, if you're not subscribed already right now, or if you're not following, just hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of our Paint Life family as well. So keep hitting those likes. Before we sign off, I appreciate you all so much for joining. I'm gonna hop back over here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I don't know if you're back in school, back in work, if you still have the day off. You know, we're in the new year, and so I appreciate you joining us and hanging out. But we had to do something special of Lewis Hamilton, one of the fastest men on the planet. First time I painted this portrait. I got to do it for you here on Paint Life Live. Again, if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. You can watch these full replays on my YouTube channel, Garibaldi Arts. Or if you're not following on any other platform, be sure to hit the follow button as well. My name is David Garibaldi. Thank you so much for joining. Take one last look at this Lewis Hamilton portrait.